Hello there guys, and in this tutorial we are going to talk about the echo command. The echo command is used to print its arguments to standard output. And what that means is that basically, let's first repeat what we actually talked about. We haven't actually talked about that. We are going to talk about that. So this is sort of like, a suspension in the trailer. If you're watching a trailer for a movie, we are going to talk about that. We haven't yet talked about it. But for the time being, standard output, you can think of that as another word for your monitor. Okay, so basically standard output for the time being, just think of it as your monitor. So if I type in echo some message, and let's type it in like this and press enter, I get some message. Now, actually, a good thing to do when you're echoing some of these messages is to enclose them in single quotes. And we are going to discuss single quotes, double quotes, and enclosing things in quotes later on in the series. But the reason why I actually hesitated when I was writing this is because usually when you're using spaces in your commands, you do not want to have spaces in your commands without them being quoted. Okay, so now if I press enter, I get the very same result. And again, we are going to talk about quotes later on, but just remember sort of like that you heard it even at this sort of relatively novel point in your Linux journey, that you should quote your arguments, okay? And this is something that's going to pop up later on. I will obviously explain it as we get to that point, but again, just something to keep in mind as you progress through this, okay? And now you may ask yourself, okay, well, Miss Lovey, this is all fine and dandy, but why do we need the echo command? Why is it useful? And again, this will serve as a trailer for the other parts of my Linux course. That is my Linux tutorial series, or more technically said, Linux course. We will talk about it later, okay? We will talk about it later. It's going to be useful for a certain thing which is called wildcards, okay? When we will going to be discuss shell globbing, that is wildcards, we are going to talk about the usage of the echo command. Hopefully, I hope I'll remember it, but it is going to be useful to test some things. So basically, to give you a preview, let's say that I had some stuff which I am not sure how it will be interpreted. Okay, so let's say that, for example, I could write something, I could write some expression, so I'll just write some expression, and that expression could either be equal to AB .txt, or it could be equal to aba.txt, or it could be equal to abaa.txt, or it could be equal to all of those previous things combined, or it could be equal to any of the combination of these things, or it could be equal to neither of these things. Okay, so that's a lot of combinations, and in order to eliminate that uncertainty, we can use echo to actually kind of see, is the expression we have inputted into our shell actually going to match the thing we intended it to match? Okay, so this may seem very complicated at this point. You're like, what did you just say? What's happening, bro? No worries, no worries. We'll get to that later on, but just know that it will be useful later on. And again, hopefully I will remember to emphasize that when we come to that point. Okay, so thank you for watching. Just know that you can use echo to output commands for now, and all of these other things you just heard once, you'll hear about them later, so no worries. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and talk soon.